Welcome to a bonus episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. I'm your host, Dan. Today's January 30th, 2022. I'm going to be providing a little women's hockey preview. Winter Olympics will be beginning February 3rd, and I'm going to be going over the Gopher and Badgers connection on today's episode. Basically, a lot of people on this roster are from the University of Wisconsin Badgers or the University of Minnesota Golden Gopher Lady Gophers. There's also others, but this is very intriguing. Looking forward to this. There's 23 players on the roster. Here's the roster for this year's Olympics and their numbers, jersey numbers that is. Now there's 23. Now check this out. Where these 23 played college, where they played, and the number of players. Of the 23, 8, number 1, University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, 8 former Gophers. Number 2 is University of Wisconsin Badgers, 5 from the Badgers. Then we got 3 former players for Boston College, 2 from Northeastern, and then 1 from Boston University, 1 from UMD, and 1 each from Clarkson, Ohio State, and Lindenwood. That makes up the 23-player roster for women's hockey. If you break that down by state, where they played, not where they're from, not where they live, not where they reside, but where they attended college. If you add in the 8 from the U of M, 1 from the UMD, you got 9 from Minnesota ranking number 1. Boston College, Boston University, and Northeastern are all in the Boston area, which is Massachusetts. There's 6 there. And Wisconsin, 5. And then 1 each from Colorado, Ohio, New York. Tied for 4th. That makes up the 23. So a lot of connections. So between Minnesota and Wisconsin, a lot of good hockey players. Now this current season in hockey, here's the poll from last week, Division 1. Minnesota jumped up to number 2, Lady Gophers. Women's Gopher team up to 2 after being in 5th, ranked 5th. Wisconsin dropped all the way to 3rd, tied for 3rd after their loss. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that friends of ours have season tickets to Ritter Arena to see the Gophers. Could not go last week. Gave us the tickets. And guess who they played? Gophers played Wisconsin. Wisconsin was ranked number 1 at the time. I've never been to Ritter Arena. Very good, small, intimate arena used only for women's hockey. They have their own hockey arena. Gophers beat them back-to-back nights on Friday and Saturday, and that's why they jumped up to number 2 ranking in the nation and dropped Wisconsin down. The previous time they faced on a weekend, the Gophers beat Wisconsin and then tied them. Interesting thing to note, Gophers have not lost to the Wisconsin Badgers at all this year. They haven't lost at all. Beat them 3 times, tied them once. Great opportunity to be at that event. Thanks again for the tickets. Very fun. So that's the reason that Wisconsin dropped down to 3rd. Minnesota went up to 2. Now, number 1 team is Northeastern. They're from Boston. Ohio State's in that next bucket there. Then you get UMD, Harvard, rounding out the top 6. Very good hockey programs all the way around on these top teams. Boy, this Olympic team will be fun to watch. A handful of the players of the 23 on the roster have been to 1, 2, or 3 prior Olympics for the women's ice hockey on the Olympic team. Now the Gophers, this just very past weekend, split with Ohio State, ranked number 3. They lost in overtime on Friday night and then beat them 5-3 on Saturday. Now, Minnesota had a tough 2 back-to-back weeks taking on Ohio State and Wisconsin, both ranked in the top 5 in the nation. The nice thing, Gophers have 6 games remaining in the regular season in the WCHA. None against ranked opponents in the top 25. None of them are ranked. Good chance you could see them win all 6 of those remaining games just in time for the conference tournament after that. Their schedule was very heavily weighted at the beginning against very good teams, and that's why they had their 5 or 6 losses early on in the season. Even now, 7 losses. Kind of high for a team that's ranked number 2 in the nation. But they got a heavy schedule. Once again, here's the roster. It should be fun to watch. A lot of local talent there. Remember to follow Andy and I's shows on Facebook every week, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our blog. Once again, this is a review of women's hockey, the upcoming Winter Olympics, the connections between the Gophers and the Badgers. Today's January 30th, 2022. Thanks for listening.